Yo, what's good, everybody? Today is August the 20th, 2024. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you, God, for another chance to just give your name praise and glory. We thank you, God, for a chance to come together and fellowship with one another. God, we ask you, God, that you bless our conversation, oh God, as well as our viewers, oh God. I ask you, God, that you would send a special prayer out to all those that have lost family members, loved ones, and friends over the course of this past week. I ask you, God, that you would comfort and keep them during this season, during this time of bereavement, oh God. Just ask you, God, that you will be with them. And also, God, I ask you, God, that you will look on all those that may have been displaced or lost things through the great rains in Jersey that happened over the last couple of days. I ask you, God, that you would just prove yourself in a mighty way, prove yourself mighty and strong in their lives and in everything that they need and that they accomplish everything that they should, oh God. And in return, we'll give your name all the praise, glory, and honor. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Yo, what's good,
Amen.
everybody? Y'all come on in. Let me know what platform y'all watching on. Let me get this screen pulled up real quick in case I get some comments that don't show up over here. Um, I want to say happy birthday to everybody that celebrated over the course of the last couple of weeks. I got kind of distracted. So much been going on, so I didn't get a chance to write everybody down. So I just wanted to do a group happy born day to everybody. All the milestones, all the anniversaries. I seen a couple of milestone anniversaries, 40 years, 35 years, 28 years. Jermaine and Telluri, I remember those one. That was one because I remember coming to that way. So happy anniversary to all you guys that's celebrating.
Happy
Um,
anniversary.
Condolences to we lost another giant in the media world this past week. Phil Donahue. I remember being a kid and like really wanting to go home, rushing home to watch the Phil Donahue show.
He
Like I always,
died.
yeah, he passed away. I believe it was Sunday. I think it was Sunday. Um,
Dang.
but I remember him being growing up in Norton, New Jersey, where you don't see white people at all till you get to school, and maybe you see a few white teachers. I remember him being like the first white man that I seen, or one of the first white men that I ever seen that didn't feel like he was racist or he looked at black people different. He had a good, real talking point of view. He did great interviews and asked great questions on the show. So shout out and thanks for all the memories, Mr. Phil Donahue. And I want to continually, again, like I said last week, I want to ask everybody to keep my Delivering Jesus is Coming family as well as Deliverance Evangelistic Center and his home church in Georgia for the late Bishop Richard Mr. Clean White. His funeral services will be this week, I believe, coming up the 24th or 26th. You guys can check on different pages or what have you. You can go to his page as well for different events that's going on as far as the celebration of life concert that they will be having. I see Myron Williams will be there along with a few other national artists. But they're gonna celebrate the life of him down in Georgia on this upcoming week and weekend. So if you can be in attendance, please do that. Send condolences, prayers to the family, but most of all, keep them in your prayers during this time. Um, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and jump. Oh, I want to say congratulations to my two brothers too, two dudes that I'm real close with. That played a big part of my life. Shout out to my man, Pastor Ronald Brown, as well as his brother and my brother, Pastor Dale Cesarone. They were elevated to overseers this week. Um,
Nice.
so congratulations to you guys. They were down here in Charlotte.
Congratulations.
So congratulations to you guys and keep on doing all that God has called you to do the way that you do it. It's greatly appreciated and the body of Christ needs you. With that being said, it's been a minute. Like I said, it's been a minute since you've been on here chopping it up with us.
A minute.
Got the co-hostess with the mostest. My friend, my sister, my peoples, Miss LyAshia Webb with us tonight. What's
Hello,
good?
darling.
What it do? What it do?
What it do?
What
As,
up though? What up though?
I was about to say, as we
Yeah,
say
yeah,
in Detroit so affectionately, what up, though?
yeah. I was like, something don't sound right with what it do. I was like, that sounds more like Jersey. What up though?
What up, though? All is well. Happy to be able to grace your platform. I was
Mm,
thinking about how long you've been doing this. Like, you have been committed to this.
yeah, a
And
little
so,
over 4 years.
yeah, I know. You started during the pandemic. That's super dope. So
Yeah,
congratulations on that.
I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
happy to be back. Happy to be
Yeah, no
back.
doubt, no doubt. and I wanted to get you on because, like I said, we always had good conversations, and
For
you
sure.
like you remind me of like the female version of my best friend Rodney. Me and him, we talk all the time, and he always talk about. He even said it one time he was on the show previously, but he was like, me and Mark, look, we best friends, but we don't agree on about 80% of the things that we talk about.
And
But it
that's
don't affect
okay.
our relationship. You know what I mean? Exactly.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Iron sharpen iron. That's how we build. And I always say, even when the scripture says, "Let us come together and reason," I don't think that table should be a whole bunch of like-minded people. I
Right.
believe that you should have people from different beliefs, different races, different walks of life, different values and
Point of
core.
views,
Yeah,
different
yeah.
point of views, different moral values. Yes.
And that's how we get. That's how we really affect change, in my opinion. And instead of focusing on what we don't agree on, let's find out what we agree on and make that the nucleus for change. You know what I mean? Because there's certain things, whether it be education for our children, whether it be
Hmm.
making more noise about the food that they selling us in these grocery stores in America, whatever
Yes.
it is. You know what I mean? All these different things, like, don't matter whether you vegan and all that. Hey, look, let's put everything in collectively to see what we need to do for ourselves and make the best decision for us. So I
And
think
to
that
your
that's
point though, even if there's different opinions, um, being mature enough to listen to different an opinion that may differ from yours to see if there's some substance to it that you can apply to your own life. Like
mm-hmm.
that too is a part of, what you're saying. Like you said, I don't want to sit at a table where we all think alike. No, I
Yeah,
want somebody to be like to challenge my point of view, to give me a different perspective to consider and ponder. And
mm-hmm.
baby, if you can't do that, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you. Not that I don't want people that think like me, because obviously that's
yeah,
going to be like the makeup of your friendships, are people who are like-minded and same moral values and all that kind of stuff. But no, I don't want to sit at the table always with people. Yeah, girl. Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
No.
I
Mm-mm.
definitely don't like that. I don't like a whole bunch of yes men
Exactly.
or
No,
scared to go back and forth with me in dialogue, and so they just shut down. Like, nah, because
well, that ain't me. So
yeah, you might bring something to my attention that you know what, Marv, you wrong on this one here. And I think that's a big part too. And we're gonna get into that later when we get into the whole love topic. But it's just important to be able to be agree to be able to disagree. I think
correct.
that's very important. Like you said, it's when it comes to maturity and being a grown adult. Like,
Hmm.
ain't no, well, I hear what you're saying, but never mind. Ain't even need for us talking and all that there. Like,
Yeah.
you're closed minded. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think that we should be more open minded when it comes to certain things.
For sure.
So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and jump in. I figure we gonna probably be there for a minute, so we can start with Deidre. And I meant to actually post it on my page so people can see, have a reference point for what we were talking about. But
Hmm.
pretty much gospel artist Deidre Hatton, he was having a conversation, and the reason that I wanted to talk about it because I have the uncanny bad habit of watching videos, and I keep saying I got to stop doing it, but I can't seem to stop. I watch these videos, and the first thing I do is I go into the comments, and it's like the comments always piss me off.
They never disappoint.
Yeah, exactly. Even though I love the comments too, because like especially with the comedy stuff, because that's where the real laughs come
That's
at.
where the real comedy is, in the
In
comments.
the comments.
Oh,
Everybody gonna be testing their own material out, things of that nature there, see if I'm funny. And I always try to tell people it's real easy to be funny or tough when you're hiding behind a keyboard. You know
this
what I
is
mean?
true. This is
Because if
true.
you said that in somebody's face, they might punch you in the face. But
Exactly.
with Diedrich, it was another video I meant to send you too because I wanted to talk about it. That was fresh in Jersey. So I don't know if you've seen it. We could start there. I don't know if you've seen it, but it done went viral. So we got this public bus system up there, all kind of
Hmm.
buses everywhere, more
Hmm.
buses than cars. So the bus driver, when the video starts, they don't have the whole lead up to it, but when the video starts, you see the bus driver in this passenger face like spit again, I dare you, spit again. You know what I mean? And he going back and forth with him, and the damn boy talking. He was like, man, he's like, you don't know me. So the dude, they going back and forth like how it is when you get on the public bus.
Yeah.
They're right there at the entrance or the front of the bus. So next thing you know, the bus driver, he looks at all the passengers like, yo, ladies and gentlemen, please move that way. Please move that way.
Because this is about to go down.
Yeah, exactly. So you already know what's about to happen next.
Absolutely.
So he tells him, he said, look, nah, we ain't got to get off no bus right here. And he gets the putting the paws on this young fella. I mean, he beat him down, dude in the seat. He snatches him up. He choke him out, put him on the floor, hitting him again. And you hear him say, like, you don't know me, you don't know me, you don't know me, little nigga. I'm a killer. He just beating the dude up. So it was, of course, there was a lot of back and forth, especially from my people in Jersey and all that did. Like the bus driver, he did what he was supposed to do, because if you spit on me, you getting all the business. Now that's the key right there. So, I don't like to do these days when they too fresh sometimes, because you need time to gather all the information so you got more of a better point of view. Yeah. Only thing I can say is spitting was involved. I don't know in hindsight, I don't know if he actually spit on the driver or he just spit on the bus or whatever. But spitting was involved.
Spit is spit. Yeah. And that's always gonna cause a reaction that typically may not, it's gonna cause a more intense reaction.
Yeah. Spit? Yeah. And that's what a lot of people were saying in the comments. Hey, listen, he got what the young fella got, exactly what he deserved. Why you doing what you doing, spitting anyway? And anybody that spit on me, I'm doing the same thing, just job. Then you got the whole other side of the argument. Well, the bus driver, he handled that totally wrong. He done lost his job. He done go because he did get arrested and he got fired. But sometimes, like my favorite line in Friday, sometimes it's the principal, Smokey.
It's always the principal.
It's the principal.
Listen, I posted that maybe like a week or two ago. It is never really the action. It's usually the principle. Like people will ask, like, well, why did you get so upset about that? Because it was the principle. Yeah. It was not what the person did. It was the principle behind what you did. Especially if you know me. You know me and you did that. Oh, okay. Okay. It's the principle.
What's good, Big Fly? Yeah, man. So it was like, you had both sides of that there, but it was just like I said, I mean, I get it, and I get how people can say, well, now he done lost his job, now he's sitting on charges, so it cost you more than you got, but listen, I'm quite sure he sit in that jail cell with a peace of mind.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. People can say what they won't do when they're not in that situation. I never try to say what I would or wouldn't do when I see stuff like that. If a situation arises, now spit, I can tell you what I'm gonna do if somebody spit on me. Okay, definitively, I can tell you what I'm gonna do. Yeah. However, I try not to say what I will and won't do. Oh, I would never. You don't know what you would do if you were in that same situation. You don't know what you were gonna do because you've never been in it. Like if
it's easy to be, like I said, it's easy to be tough, or like you say what you going to do, but
when you're not in that situation, because I promise somebody spit on me, baby, I too am going to jail. I'm going to jail 100%.
Because spitting has always probably been number one to me as a man. I always said, well, yeah, spitting is up there, but I always say the worst thing that could ever happen to a man, in specific, you rather get punched in the face than another grown man smack you with an open hand. Like, you smack me, yo. Listen.
See,
all I see is red. You're not smacking me as no grown man. Like the Will Smith, Chris Rock, like you're not, another grown man is not smacking me, yo. Period.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say I don't care about that. Somebody put their hands on me. It's a problem. But that spit is something about Marvin, it's something about it's something about that just because you were intentional. Like exactly. you brought it up. You intentionally did that. So now I have to intentionally put my hands on you. Intentionally, with all intention. I have to
do anything that come with it. You just gonna have to beat me down. Thomas said the same thing.
That's right, Thomas. But if they spit on you, look, he pressed it. Dude pressed it. Wayne, what you mean, dude pressed it? He was egging it on.
Yeah, that was what you said too, Fi. It's just because, like I said, and this is in our city, so we already know. That's why when he said, "Ladies and gentlemen," I started laughing as soon as I heard "ladies and gentlemen." And what do? Everybody got up and moved to the back of the bus.
Listen, I already know. You know where I'm from. You already know it's same scenario. Same probably would have went the same way. It probably would have been worse.
The hood is the hood, yo.
The hood is the hood is the hood. All across the country, the hood is the hood. Okay, you do
I
something
remember
like
one of
that
the
in
comments.
anybody's hood.
Yeah,
It's
I remember one
over.
of the comments saying, "I bet you won't ever spit on nobody." That was so
I
spit
bet
though.
you he
Like
won't.
I bet you
He
won't eat.
won't spit nowhere. He'll swallow it moving forward. I bet he won't. And the thing is, since we're talking about this, because I don't know how old or young that young man was, but the younger generation, they're off,
Yeah,
and they really
absolutely.
think that they can do things. Um, and the older generation not having it. They're not with it. They will quickly and
Mhm.
kindly let you know, stop playing with me. Go play with your mama. Do not play with me. If you spit on me, your family better get. Come on, Thomas. Because what? Don't do that. Don't exactly,
And
Wayne. They
lot
have no
you don't
respect.
know you don't even know Thomas, but Big Tom is probably about 6'4", 6'5", about a good 275. So you got some kahunas on you, period, if you spit on
Yeah,
Tom.
come on. Because I see Thomas, I'm turning the other way. But yeah, they have no respect. The younger generation, they have absolutely no
Absolutely.
respect. And
You're
you know,
right, Pop.
okay, this is me going down a rabbit hole just a little bit. I think they have no respect because they're being like people are having kids younger and younger and
Yeah.
younger. And so it's hard to, not everybody, but it's hard to raise a kid when you're still a kid. Like I said, I did a post and I saw a grandmother, 34, grandmother, 34.
I
Now,
know
how
people.
can I possibly, not that she's a bad mom, I'm not saying
Yeah,
that, but how can I possibly tell you how to do and be and,
yeah,
and I'm still trying to figure out how to
yeah,
do and be myself.
yeah.
Now I got a grandchild, like
Hmm.
at 34. So a lot of times these kids are not being parented correctly. And so when they go out into the real world, they think everybody parent gonna take that. Not no.
Hmm.
You might be able to do that at home, but not in the real world. Not in the real world.
And
So
and,
that's
and and to back that point up, I'll take a little bit because I don't know why I've been thinking about this for like the last couple of weeks, but to your point, and I know don't be offended, ladies, when I say this.
no
It's just
goodness.
my opinion. But to that same point, I be thinking about how, like in this, if you was born in the 70s, you get to dating in the 80s, the early 90s, you always had those mothers that was like, nah, she can't go out this here. We looked at them like strict mothers. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times, if you really do the history or go back and do your research, they were fast at that age. So that's the reason that they were so strict on their daughters, because they was out there sleeping around at 13, 14, 15 years old. They don't want to see their daughters do the same thing. And what you do is, it's just almost like the old cigarette commercial. When you tell me not to smoke, I'm gonna be curious what it's like to smoke a cigarette. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So it's like, you don't want me to do the same things that you do, but how about you telling me why I shouldn't be promiscuous at an age? Tell me how, even though you don't regret having me as your child, how
Mm-hmm.
your life totally changed because I had you at such an early age. And I don't want to see you do the same thing, that go through the same thing that I went through. I don't want to have to see you rob yourself of opportunities to go to school or go to the military or go to college and different things that I did. Go get you a career because you're stuck raising this child that you had. You know what I mean? So I
Now
think
let
the
me ask you
is a
this.
big part of that too.
Let me
Yo,
ask you this. Okay, I hear you. But what about the fathers who are strict on their daughters? Is it because
I would say the same thing. I would say the same thing because like just think about it, right?
because they was hoeing? Can I say that on it? Can I
Yeah,
say
yeah,
that?
absolutely. You can say whatever you want. Like this is not the congregation here.
Okay, so men are strict on their daughters because they was hoeing, and now they don't want anybody to hoe their daughter, pimp their daughter.
Not I won't go that far, but similarly to a certain degree. But a lot of the times with the men, like just think about it. and a lot of women don't like to admit this either, but you've been in a relationship before, and we like, as the man, hey, look, I understand y'all cool and all that there, but look, you need to leave this joke. I need you to fall back, or if we're gonna be together, I need you to fall back on your interactions with homeboy. Nah,
Okay.
he's just my friend. He cool. He got a wife and kid. Look, as a man, I know when someone is trying to get at my lady. Period.
Okay.
It ain't even got to be my lady. I know if somebody trying to get at my sister, my cousin, my mother. We know that. We know that some said dudes are safe and some aren't. So, no, I'm telling you, I hear what you're saying, but he's not like that. Until you catch him in that situation and you like, now you don't even know how to tell the dude that they'll pre-warn you about it. You don't even want to bring that up because he done made the pass and he showed you that he was really thinking like a man, because a man thinks differently than a woman does.
Absolutely. A man absolutely thinks different than a woman. But to your point, could it possibly be that a woman is strict on her kids, not necessarily because she was in the streets, but because she knows what the streets is like?
Yeah,
she has brothers.
absolutely.
For instance, I have a brother. I have an older brother. I love my brother down. Do you hear me? I love my brother. But my brother is a man. My brother has friends. And I was the younger sister, so I saw all the things, not necessarily that my brother was doing, but we were younger, the company he kept. So as a young woman, I was then able to kind of set my, like, it kind of set a foundation for how I interacted with men, because I saw how men can be. I saw how men can interact with women. I saw how younger men treated certain women, and I did not want to be that woman that they treated that way. And so as a woman, that set my foundation, not because I was in the street, not because I was, a hoe, because I saw how these men interacted with women, how they did not value women. And so for me as a mom, I'm now trying to teach my kids the game, not because I learned it because I experienced it firsthand, but because I saw it firsthand. I didn't experience it for myself, but I can teach my girls, all right, this is how you be a lady. How you know? Because I saw it. I'm from the
But
hood.
that's my whole point. You're actually having a conversation with your daughters. It's not, well, you just gonna do it because I told you. You're explaining.
Oh no, I have those too.
Give them
I
a
have
reason.
those too.
And a lot of times, I think we missed it. And Fob made up some good points. He said, depending on their home structure, not many of these kids have any foundation. Without that, what motivates them, who guides them, what they do, what they believe in? Social media. I believe social media plays a big part. The media as a whole and the music. Even the music. Like, you're looking at all these rappers. I'm not hating on the young ones, but the ones like the one hole is brown and the other one is pink. Like, I would hope so.
I hate it so much.
I would hope so. But why is this? I definitely wouldn't want my daughter listening to this. You know what I mean? And this is the number one rap in the rap world by female at the time. You know what I mean? Saying, Jermaine said that's exactly why they are strict. We don't want them dealing with no dogs. Jokers know the game.
Exactly, Jermaine. Hey, Jermaine. Exactly.
Our generation as a whole has failed. Yeah, I would say that too, Big Five.
I don't necessarily think our whole generation, or our generation as a whole, because some of us is really out here killing it in the parent scene. I would like to listen. I'm a big up my own self. Okay. Yeah. I'm killing it. There are certain things that sure I could be better at, but overall, I'm killing it on the parent scene. I could run you down, boom, 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 boom. You know my kids. Yeah. You have been around my kids. You've interacted with my kids, and my kids are respectful. I've honestly never gotten a bad report when it came to my kids, whether they were in my presence or not. And to me, that is the biggest compliment as a mother, or a parent, period. When your kids are out of your sight, and the only thing you're getting is text messages like, oh my gosh, who raised these kids? They are amazing. They are respectful. Like, okay, so I'm gonna pat my own stuff on the back. I ain't a part of this generation that failed.
And I feel what you're saying, but I agree with Five from the aspect that for every lie there is, there's 5 more. I won't name no names that don't meet that status. You know what I mean? it's funny that you even say that because even when I don't have like a close relationship with them, but your daughters, they remind me of like the girl versions of my son so much. Because I tell people the one thing that I heard more than anything else as a parent, like you said, is listen, your young men are you and your wife did a great job. You and their mother did a great job because they are the most respectful young men I have ever met in my life.
Yeah.
And like you said, as a parent, when I would hear that, I was like, okay, I might not got everything right. I might not got 100 on the test, but I did something right. You know what I mean? I told them how to respect people. So, you know, I think that that's very important. And it takes people a long way, too, as opposed to where you're teaching them the game, so to speak, and you're teaching them, you know, you got, think about it, you got parents that teach some of their kids how to be shady, how to manipulate. Like,
you're right.
Teaching their kids this is so, you're like, right. You know what I mean? It's different levels, but shout out, like I said, I want to say shout out to all the great parents and all the coaches. I'm always big up the coaches when it comes to Pop Warner, the cheerleading squad, you know, they captain and all that there, because you're not just responsible for your children, you're responsible for so many other children. Absolutely. And the impact about it. I think I seen Warren. Yeah, shout out to Warren. I seen Warren post a picture the other day, I believe it might have been Sunday, where he had all the young men at his team in the living room and all. He was just like, yo, it was cool that they could come in there and feel comfortable enough to come in there and want to spend some time with them out off the field and things of that nature there. So don't get it wrong, there are some that's out there, but I believe that it's so you could get a room of 15 young men because they don't have parents that are willing to do the same thing and show you how to be a man and show you how to discipline yourself. And this is the way you carry yourself and things of that nature.
Absolutely.
If I say respect young ladies.
Oh, thank you, Wayne.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's more not like me than like me. I agree with that 100%. But I just needed to pat myself on the back because I ain't part of that field. I'm just saying I needed to set myself apart. Oh, Jermaine, no. Jermaine. Yeah. Jermaine, jump in the comments.
Jermaine said facts. I used to tell mine, you better not act up outside this house. We have raving reviews all the time about ours as well. You have trained them and raised them right.
You absolutely have to train and raise them right.
Thomas, hopefully you mean what I mean. I take care of mine too. Just saying there's a lot who don't. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, what's good, Jennifer?
Hi, Jennifer. So, I don't know Jennifer, but hey, Jennifer, girl. Hey, girl.
But parenting is
ghetto.
Yeah, and since we right there, we're gonna shift instead of going to the Deidre. We'll get to that if we get to it. But you know, I talked about in the post. You know, I'm big on Bel Air. I like the reboot because I've always been a fan of like history and behind the scenes and watching all that kind of stuff there. So I knew like when they created it, a lot of people don't know this, but when they came up with the concept for the Fresh Prince of Bel Air that we knew with Will Smith back in the 90s, what we're seeing now played out. That was the original concept for the show. But NBC and the studios told Quincy Jones at that time that, you know, Black America isn't ready for a drama. They're not going to sit there and watch a drama. So we need to make this a comedy and things of that nature there. And I feel offensive as a Black American too, because it's like, who are you going to tell me what's funny or what I'm going to watch and what I won't watch? You don't know nothing about me. You know what I mean? Almost like with Biden. I was pissed off, and I know I got a lot of people that support Biden or whatever. But for you as a white American male to tell me if I don't vote for you, I ain't really Black. How dare you speak on my Blackness when you don't know nothing about being Black at all? I find that highly offensive. I don't care whether you see now, I don't care whether you're a vegetable. Like that's why you can't keep putting microphones in front of old people. Like real talk.
They are older people are very unhinged and they say exactly what they feel.
No filter whatsoever.
Boom.
God forbid. Yes, my God babies are well behaved. Those are my babies.
Period. My kids.
You know, and I think about that too. Like I'm like, God forbid. I actually that y'all pray for me now, because if God do bless me to see old age and knowing that about older people already have a problem with my mouth now. Because I have no.
You're gonna be a problem as an elderly. You're gonna be a problem for sure. You are completely unhinged now. You're gonna be like unhinged times 10, and that's.
But they tell you, tell the truth and shame the devil.
Well, I'm old because I'm speaking my mind. I know that's right, Wayne. Yeah. I speak my mind too,
always like that. Yeah.
But no, older people are disrespectful when they speak their mind. That's the thing. Older people, they have no filter. They don't know how to like wrap it up to make it, they
Uh-huh.
just like, oh, look at that gut. That wasn't there last time. It just be like, what's your point? What
I
is
can
your
see
point?
my cousin being old and talking mad trash to everybody. You
Exactly.
already know what's going down.
He gonna be in the senior citizen home. They're gonna be ready to put him out.
Because especially when you get older, back, because you don't have time for all the nonsense and dressing up or to worry about your feelings and all that. Then
They don't dress it up at all. Like literally not at all. They don't. They
but
don't.
the part that I was talking about with Bel Air, so it's different with if for those that never seen the reboot, just Bel Air, not the Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Mhm.
There was a part where we know the storyline. He went from West Philly, born in West Philly, and born and raised. He moves out to California. So outside of the comedy, what happens is the reason that he gets sent from West Philadelphia to Bel Air to live with his aunt and uncle Phil, who was a lawyer in the original show too, was because he had an incident with one of the dudes that ran the block in his neighborhood. He was one of the bosses in the neighborhood, and Will was trying to get it to stop beating up his friend, so he pulled out a gun. He wound up getting arrested. So his mother like, you got to get out. And anybody from the hood, we can relate. Sometimes you're in those kind of situations where it could go totally left. So she had the opportunity where she had family that was out there. The lawyer, the uncle is a lawyer. So he goes out there to move out there with them. And things are good because they got money, they got houses, they living in a castle, big old mansion and all that there. He's doing this whole thing. And the mom started feeling some kind of way. It was a conversation between the sister and his mom, Aunt Viv and his mom, where Vi was saying, like, well, look, this was always supposed to be temporary. You know what I mean? Like, I never said I was going to send my son out there for this and that there. But after being out there, he started getting accustomed to the surroundings. He realized, you know what, man, even though I'm playing ball and stuff, like, I don't have to deal with the stress of the streets. I don't have to deal with taking a long walk home. I don't have to worry about walking through the crack valves. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You start to see life through a different lens when you're exposed. That's why I think that is very important for us to expose our children to different surroundings as opposed to just what we're comfortable with.
For sure.
As he sees this, he takes on the mindset, well, maybe I should stay out here, whatever. So now the mom is feeling some kind of way, thinking that Viv is trying to replace her. So that's what I want to get into. Like, how do we feel about when we have loved ones or family members or family friends, our gossips sometimes? You know what I mean? They are able to give them better opportunity. They're better off financially than we are. Doesn't mean that we're a bad person. You may be working 2 jobs. They just, they have a different, they've been dealt a different hand in life. So what is it wrong for you to do that? And the reason that I asked this, or the reason that is such a question to me, is because I don't think that is a right or wrong in anything, pretty much. But it's back on fire. It came on last week. I think they did drop the last 3, and then the next 3 will come out either tomorrow or Thursday. But season 3.
So my thoughts on that. If you send your child to someone that has more opportunities or can present more opportunities to your child, don't be mad when they present more opportunities to your child. Like, that's the part so you're mad because I'm doing what you sent him here for me to do. Okay, that makes no sense to me. Like, if I'm going to trust you to, take care of my child or whatever, I have to trust that as a parent, I've loved my child enough, instilled in my child enough, and my child understands our relationship enough to when they go to who. And then also, why send your child to someone who you even think will try to replace you? Number one. So that's out the gate. That's bad decision making. Like, if you're even thinking like, oh man, like they trying to replace you didn't get any red flags before you sent your child with them? Because
so that's where it gets tricky to me. Why you right there? Not to cut you off, but that's where it gets tricky for me, because you're coming from your point of view. And like I try to tell people, your issues are your issues. Correct. I can't help you with your issues. So even if you know that I love you and I love my nephew or my niece in this type of situation, if you feel like I'm trying to replace you because I could give them better opportunities or whatnot, that's your insecurities issue. So are you going to deny your child the opportunity that can be afforded to them? You know what I mean? I even think about it with Simone Biles, right? She just got all these gold medals. So it was a big post that I seen last week where, she's a doctor, and her mom was like, yeah, she was a crack fiend and she was a duck. And it's like, to me, it seems like we always, and I'm not a big fan of that either, but it seems like we always seem to, well, one is definitely a double standard for women, mothers as opposed to fathers. But I'm from the mindset of absent parent is an absent parent. You know what I mean? Like, but because of the way we believe and the way we think and our points of views, we can say, well, you're a bad father because you got strung on drugs. And one thing I always try to tell people about addicts is, let's stop that whole narrative right now, because nobody chooses to become an addict. You may choose to do a drug, but nobody chooses addiction. Right. You don't know what's all coming out. It's like it's a rabbit hole. But the father is not there because he's a drug addict. So the family take care and raise of him. How is that any different? If you think about it, the father is not there. But LeBron James, because he's a basketball player, he's a billionaire. He's missing all of the birthday parties. He's missing all the recitals. He's missing, you know what I mean? He's missing key points of his child's development and growth years because he's making money. But we give that a pass because in our society, it doesn't matter about the absence. It matters that we agree with why you're absent. But I think that for the child themselves, they're not thinking about daddy out there making money. All they know is daddy not there.
I don't agree with that. Flag on the play. I don't agree with that because here's why. Okay, first of all, going back to your point when you said that about the anyway, I feel like people aren't necessarily feeling like they're being replaced. They're jealous about what the other person is able to provide them, which goes back to my point of why would you send your child somewhere and then be pissed that they're actually doing what you wanted them to do? Like, are you not grateful? Do you not have a thankful bone in your body that your child is now in a safe environment? The most prestigious schools, does not have to worry about money, doesn't have to worry about anything. They can actually be a kid. So now you're pissed at me for doing that. That's weird.
And to back your point up, like, you can actually feel bad as a parent that you can't give them all of that there. But at the same time, me as an individual, as bad as I may feel, I'm still thinking the Almighty God that he's placed somebody in their life to do what I couldn't.
And it takes maturity because everybody's not mature enough to look at it from a I'm thankful perspective. Like, it takes a certain level of maturity to be able to do that. And everybody's just not mature.
Yeah, so I'm not big. I started looking at her divide the mom on the show a totally different way, because then you tie into the whole thing with the father. The father was absent. Will just thinking that his father wasn't a part of his life. He thinking that he's off happily married with another family, so he just threw him away. Come to find out, he realized that his father was locked up for 14 years. His father got locked up when he was 4 years old. So it doesn't matter why you weren't there again.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. It does matter. I'm gonna speak from personal experience here. My father was a part of my life until I was 12. My father made a very poor decision. My father went away and I did not see him until I was an adult, right? I am holding him accountable for that because you made a decision that impacted your ability to be a father. You weren't out making money. You weren't out trying to better my life. You weren't out trying to provide for me. You chose yourself. You chose selfishly. So I'm supposed to be okay with that? LeBron is out providing for his children. I'm sure he calls his children. From what I see, we don't know LeBron, but from what I see, LeBron is a top tier father. He is active. He is there. I don't care if he missed 5,000 recitals. He is seemingly there, and his kids love him from what we see. A person going to jail or being addicted to crack, though you may not have made the choice to get addicted, but you made the choice to heat up the first rock. You didn't have
I
to
agree
make
with
that.
that. All I'm saying is that is a, but that's because that's a point of view. That's the way life feels about it. What I'm saying is some children.
I need the viewers. I need
No,
viewers.
yeah, I definitely want to hear y'all comment back. But for
No,
some,
because
the
I
same way you got
cannot
a feeling,
compare
you have a point of view.
somebody out working to somebody choosing crack and being. I can't.
I know because that's the way you feel about it. Somebody else does not feel about that. There are grown adults right now that are 40, 50 years old, and they're still the little girl or the little boy in them is crying inside of them because their parent was never there, even though they might have been working. All I know is that mommy wasn't there, daddy wasn't there. So if that's my real hurt, if that's the way I'm coming from, or that's my scope, it doesn't mean that it got to be true. That's just the way I feel, and you can't. I think it's wrong to tell anybody that they are wrong for feeling the way that they feel. But you can't tell them if that's the way they're feeling. Like, well, no, you wrong because your father was just doing the best that he could. I hear all of that, and one of the things I think that kind of scoped me like that. I always remember hearing, Martin Luther King's son, the one that just passed away, Dexter. I remember seeing him in an interview one year. And in this one interview, I don't know why I just paid attention to this one part, but what he said was, they were talking about how, oh man, your father was this great man, and your father was this, and your father was that. And he was like, he sat there and he listened, and he had this look on his face. So when they finished giving Martin Luther King all his praise, he said, you know what? You may be right. He said, but Dexter, as a child, I felt like my father, this great man that you're speaking of, he was the father to every black child in America except for us. That was a real feeling for him. You know what I mean? Because Martin Luther King was out there fighting the fight. So you can't take away from his hurt because his father wasn't there, even if it's for the right reasons. That's a real pain that he suffered with as an adult. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that is a right or wrong, but I think that we all look at it, or we judge it based off of our scope or our point of view. And our point of view ain't the only point of view.
Absolutely not. Wayne, listen, chime in on the topic at hand. And the topic at hand is LeBron being away for taking care of his kids the same as a parent being away because they addicted to a substance?
I wasn't talking about LeBron per se. I was just using him as an example, like whether you're there or not. Like, know, people aren't there for different reasons. That's all I was making. I wasn't saying like talking about LeBron personally. You know what I mean?
He was an example. I get that. Y'all both right. Okay, Fence Straddle.
I'm with you too, man. I wish they would bring back For Life. That was one great show.
Life was a great show.
That was a real good show.
For Life was a great show. Okay, we know that we both can have feelings, Wayne, but we're asking your perspective on the topic.
Yeah, and we talked about it a little one time when Fi was on here, and I got to get him back on because I think that's a beautiful story too. But his whole relationship with his dad and how he came to meet his dad and things like that. So he's gonna have a whole different point of view based off of his personal experiences.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
He should.
But I just think that I just, like you said, I agree with you on that. There, it's almost kind of narcissistic when, you know what I mean, I ask you to take care of my child, and then I get mad when you actually do it.
You do it. That's crazy to me.
It is like when you say it out loud, it sounds even crazier. You know what I mean? But when we in our feelings, we ain't trying to hear that.
Thomas made a comment. He said he brought his niece down and gave her a better opportunity, and that's actually really awesome. I did the same. I did something comparable to that where I had my niece and my nephew. And
so that's what's up, Tom. Salute.
Yeah, that's what's up. Round of applause. That's awesome.
Because on the opposite side, and we all got to meet our maker eventually, but you got family members that could do more for their other family members and won't.
Don't get me started on that. Please do not. Wayne done already said we all over the place. Do not get me started on that because I could go on and on and on for days about that.
And you sitting up there in your house talking all the trash about them when you can make a difference. But you're going to have to give an account when you stand before God. Not y'all, the families involved. Both sides of the family will have feelings about being separated, no matter if the separation was full or a better option or not. And that's the point that I'm making. Like, everybody's going there. Is an emotional You know, like I said, and even when it comes to violence, like I said, she could feel bad for even being put in a position that she wasn't in a better position because, like she said in the show, she got 2 jobs. She's working day and night just to make sure that he has all the opportunity. But sometimes that isn't good enough when you're in those kind of environments. When you're from New Jersey, when you're from Detroit, when you're from Chicago, you know what I'm saying? Compton, California. There's so much. You know, I even think about it when I was talking about the absentees. You know, why you think that a lot of the guys in the 80s became successful drug dealers? Because mama was most of some of them came from single parent homes, or the ones that they do, both mother and father was working 2 or 3 jobs to make sure that they kept a roof over their head. So you out here fending for yourself. So what you gonna do? You gonna listen to the dudes out here. You see this joker with these nice sneakers on. He got the British Knights on the BKs and looking fly. Got the little chain and the gazelles and all that thing. Hey, how you get that there? You know what I mean? Daddy going to work 60 hours a week.
That don't
all
mean
you do is pay the rent.
Type of way. He just got wrapped up in the wrong crowd. Don't mean he feels some type of way.
Nah, but what I'm saying is it just make it that much easier for you to get influenced by bad decisions when you know what I mean, when you're less. Like I remember when I first moved to Little Rock, the first thing that tripped me out.
You stayed in Little Rock?
Yeah. I lived in Little Rock, Arkansas for 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you knew that.
We'll talk about that offline.
But it was like one of the biggest culture shocks to me was like, you know, being nice at football in high school, the West Side, and things of that nature there. Like Thomas could attest to this. He's one of my high school teammates. We might see 13, 14 people in the stands for our home game, and 3 of them was homeless. They just in the game trying to find shelter. You know, I always make that joke. But you know, I moved to Little Rock, Arkansas, and you would see these kids out here 8 o'clock in the morning, 400, 500 people watching Pop Warner football. And I'm like, yo, can you imagine if we had this same stuff in Newark with people deterring us and those kind of influences in our lives, we might have not ever got into the stealing the cars or, you know, doing what we was doing and doing all this extra stuff, because people is a different opportunity that you're involved in because of the atmosphere that you're in. You know, it was more family oriented things of that nature there down there. Now, don't get me wrong, they still had Bloods. They had Bloods and the Crips and all that kind of stuff there. Because I remember going to talk to them, and they like, Rev, how you want? I said, listen, you told them the same thing. I'm doing prison ministry at the time. But I told them, I said, you know, the reason that I don't respect you guys is because you guys chose to be in the game. But Rev, that's what they call me. Rev, you used to talk about how you used to carry a gun and all that day. I said, yeah, because I wanted to make it home. That's the environment that I lived in. You know what I'm saying? You guys got people that's willing to support you. They come to your basketball games. They come to your Friday night lights. That's a real thing. We didn't know that growing up in Newark. Like thousands of people at a high school game.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No, I would have loved to have that there. I would have never gotten into the streets or involved in all that there because I like the way that made me feel. And people cheering me on and people rooting for me. And coaches showing me that they care about me and all that different stuff there. So, you know, you got all access to all of this here. You get to go to parks. You know what grass looked like. The only way we seen grass was if we went to the park.
Yeah,
that's why they call it.
You know, I know. You know, I know.
You know what I mean? So for you to have all access to all of this and still choose to be in the game, because talking about and your excuses because you was bored, it wasn't nothing else to do. I can't get with that. That's not good enough reason for me to join the game.
Agree with that. I can agree with that.
So with everything in life, there's always going to be levels, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Sure. It's like, let's be strategic on how we go about those different things.
It really is, Thomas. Listen, my kid, okay, going back to my kids, my kid is cheering for a school that is, I'm going to say 50-50. And the games, the band, it's just a different type of experience. Now, I'm from Detroit, and we had the football games and all that stuff, and it was always a time was had. But in the South,
it's different.
Oh my God, it is different. Like
I'm talking about it at work. You know, I got to get out of here on time because we got Dudley this
afternoon. You got to get to the game, okay? And don't let it be the South, like in a small town. Oh my God.
Well, rival town. You know, Raleigh school versus the Durham school. Oh,
you better get there. I have literally been to a Friday night game, and we got there about an hour early. seats gone.
Yeah.
Like you had to hunt for seats. These people were not playing. So yeah, he is not wrong. He is 100% right. Absolutely.
I think the ones that of us that can, like I said, shout out to you again, Thomas. But I think that that's another thing that we could all do. You know, you too, Big Five. You know, I know your life story and things of that nature. There, I think sometimes like some of the best things that we could do is, you know, I remember somebody telling me one time like, what's the purpose of complaining about a problem if you're not going to be willing to be a part of the solution? You know what I mean? And that always stuck with me. So a lot of times we could find a way, even though we might not be able to be committed, we could get involved with, you know, even though we don't have school kids in school anymore. I still like to try to go to high school games every once in a while for people that I know that kids are in high school or different things of that nature there, or the youngsters in Pop Warner. I was looking at the post the other day, it almost made me cry. One of my young fellas that I used to coach, now he's coaching and he's out there doing his thing. And he was just talking about how his coaches instilled this different things. And I'm like, okay, I really made a difference. So just because it doesn't have to be your child for you to show people that you care and really give back in that type of way.
Right.
These high schools have whole sports complex. Exactly. It's how we getting our stuff out the shed.
And
First of all, we have to walk 2 blocks to practice.
It's crazy. The South is crazy. The South is 100% crazy with that. I love it though.
Yeah. We did that. So again, all right. So we talked about the aspect of the mom and the jealousy. Let's talk about love, okay? Because we was having this, and you said let's save it for the show. I'm of the belief that just because somebody doesn't love you the way that you want to be loved does not mean that they don't love you, okay? And back to just using the show as a comparison, and I'm not saying this overall, but I'm just using this as a particular example. And you had to keep your helmet on. Absolutely, Thomas. God forbid, you can't even make this up, Ly. So like Halloween, right? Because he went there. Halloween season, like I said, we had to walk to practice every day. But the whole week around Halloween, they would have to go to the Board of Education and get us a school bus that's drive us to practice if we were lucky on some days. But around the week of Halloween, you had to wear your helmet to practice because people would see us walking down the block. You got jokers throwing double D batteries, frozen boiled eggs, not just eggs. They will boil the eggs and freeze them. Like you trying to put somebody in a coma. Like we had to face this just to get to practice. Then we still got to get back home. Like I hated the month. I hated Halloween week.
Why though? Why that time of the year?
Because it's the hood. It's Halloween. Mischief night and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Everything that going around. We wasn't into no toilet paper and the TP and all that. That was the white
y'all went savage.
Yeah, double D batteries. Bang, bang.
That's crazy.
Some of us we used to jog to practice back then.
I bet. It's hard to hit a moving target.
So I know what I'm talking about. Like you wanted to be sick that week. But back to what I was saying, when it comes to the father. So the father, again, he was locked up, whatever. So he comes up, Will's kind of looking for him, and they have this whole big exchange. You know how it goes, if you haven't seen your father in all these years and different things. Then his father was like, I was trying to get myself together as a man before I came to approach you. You know what I mean? Yeah, I could have reached out to you in jail. He's like, but I never forget for him, but based off of his experience, his father was incarcerated. And he said he remember how that made him feel going to the jail to see his father. He never wanted that for his son. So he'd rather be out of his life. Now that's a choice that he makes. But he might have made a bad choice for the right reason in some people's opinion. But to Will's point, it doesn't neglect the fact that I had lost out on having my dad. Whether it was for a good reason or a bad reason. You know what I mean? And now, and that's another thing that, I think that a lot of times we don't do, or we shouldn't do that we do. Will, one of the things that Will said to him was, here it is. I thought you was happy with another family and all this, he making up all this stuff in his head. And I keep telling people, especially people in relationships and people that have not just romantic relationships, but relationships, period. Stop having these one-sided conversations in your head. You know what I mean? Because half the time, if you actually communicate and talk about it, what you feel or what you're saying back that you think that they would say, based off y'all relationship and y'all experiences, you will be more or less, you know what I mean? Oh, that ain't, if you ask me, I'll be like, well, yo, no, I wasn't even thinking about that when I said such and such and such. And now we get to have a clear, you know what I mean? We can dissipate that. So a lot of times we shouldn't even have those concepts within our head. But if I said, what's the question? What's the question, man? The question is, how do you handle that? How do you feel about when you actually love someone, but because you don't love them the way that they want to be loved, they feel like you don't love them? I don't think that that's true. Just because I love you, I mean, I might not show you that I love you the way that you want to be loved, but that does not negate the fact that I do love you.
Okay, and like we kind of had this discussion a little bit. Sure, you may feel like you love me, but if you truly love me, then you will put in the work to love me the way that I need to be loved. Not loving me the way that you feel like I need to be loved. If I tell you, showing me, okay, let's just use love languages, for example. If I tell you my love language is quality time, and you're continually buying me gifts, are you not listening? Like, hello? How? But I love you, so I bought you this gift. But do you really? Do you really? Like, how can you how do you show somebody you love them if you can't love them how they need to be loved? And to be honest, if a person is unable to love you the way that you need to be loved, how long do you even stay in that relationship for them to prove they really do love you?
Okay, so the same. All right, so
No, what is he, Wayne? You got to add a question or an extra comment to that, because what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
But all right, so we could come back to it, but let's take the romantic aspect of it out. Not man and wife, or man and female. How you say, how long would that relationship last? Let's apply the same scenario to a parent, you and your child.
Okay.
Now you, like, based off of what you're saying, well, I told you that I want a Barbie dollhouse for Christmas. You know what I mean? If you love me, you'll give me a Barbie doll or a race car track. But I'm like, it's 20 degrees in here in the wintertime, so I'm gonna get you a hat and a coat because that's what you need. You just want a race car track.
See,
it doesn't mean that I don't love you, though.
That's material, and that's kitty. We're talking about kids. If I love you, I love you. No, Wayne, no. You talking about make the question clear, make your comment clear. Because what? That's the type of no. Heck no.
I'm like, fine. You might not feel that I love you, but just because that's the whole point. Just because you feel that I do not love you, just because you feel like I don't love you, don't mean that I don't love you. I'm just not displaying my love for you in the way that you want it to be displayed.
Is there
that does not mean that I love you.
Is there any women in the room?
Yeah, where the sisters at? Where you at, Jen?
Oh my God, you're expecting my love or saying you don't believe it? What? I don't understand what you're saying, Wayne.
You're accepting my love, or
that is not accepting.
No, expecting. You're expecting.
Are you trying to say expecting or accepting?
And change nothing. I don't know what that means either. But again, like you say, we keep going back to the relationship as a parent, right? Just because you don't feel like I love you don't mean that I don't love you as a child. My daddy ain't never really loved me. My mom ain't never really loved me. You know what I mean? But just because you say that and you feel that way don't mean that it's true.
So okay. Let me think through. Let me quickly think through this. So as a parent,
hey, Nita, that's a female.
Hey, girl, hey, I need you to chime in because these men are saying, if I tell you I love you, then you just need to believe I love you, whether I show you in the way you need me to show you or not. Just believe I love you. What? Huh?
I'm not just talking about just because I said I love you.
That's exactly what you're saying.
No, because all right, so men and women both alike, but more so men. We're not the best communicators in some situations.
At all, period. Thank you.
But just because I don't communicate to you that I love you the way that you feel like you need to be loved does not mean that I don't love you.
Anita, pin Anita's comment now. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Love is an action word. Show me you
good,
love
Margie.
me. And showing me you love me is based on what I need from you. If my kids, since we're going to talk about a parental relationship, if my kids say, Mommy, I need you to, because I give my kids a very open, which is why I feel like me and my kids have an amazing relationship, because I give them a very open, like a open table. You know what I'm saying? If you need to talk to Mommy, like we could talk, no punishment involved. Let's talk. Tell me what you need. Boy, what have you talking about? Tell me what you need.
Mitch?
Tell me what you need. So if they tell me what they need from me as a mother to feel loved, and I do polar opposite, do you really think they're going to still feel loved? No. If they tell me A and I do B, how? And honestly, it'll cause the person to shut down. If I'm telling you, I need you to handle me this way for me to feel loved, and based on you and Wayne, I said I love you, but I'm gonna treat you this way. Does that love?
Let me ask you this:
what room does that love have to grow? Because
I
don't want to be loved how you feel like I should be. I want to be loved how I need to be loved, and otherwise.
But we don't always get that's the key word right there. That's the key word. You want to be loved the way that you want to be loved.
I need to be loved in a certain way.
You may feel like you need it.
Oh my! This is a horrible. This is why a lot of relationships don't last. Because
I know we got to do one at a time, because we keep talking about parenting, we keep talking about relationships. But as a child, so this is my question to you, especially when we talk about parenting. Because you don't love your daughters.
Mitch, Mitch, what are you saying wow to? Because I'm saying wow, and I don't know if we're saying wow about the same thing.
Be clear, man of God. Come on, Bishop.
Because what Marv is talking about is crazy to me.
So I'm gonna ask you though. I'm asking you. So in a parenting scenario.
Thank you.
In a parenting scenario. So as a parent, you're supposed to always succumb, so to speak, to your child's request to make them feel loved, even if you know that from an adult standpoint and your experiences in life that that's not what's best. You're still supposed to do that because that's what they feel. That's what they need to feel loved.
You're talking about material things. That's what you're.
It ain't gotta be. It could be curfew. Mom, I don't like to go to bed at this certain time. If you really love me, you will let me stay up. I get up on time every single morning. Why do I have to go to bed at 8 o'clock versus 11 o'clock?
And people, I don't care. Somebody's gonna disagree with this, and that's cool. If my children equate love to a curfew time, I'm not doing something right as a parent. Like, my children should understand what love is. I think Anita said parents teach their children how to communicate their needs. Absolutely. And I ain't thinking about nothing I'm not thinking about nothing Wayne is typing, talking about nothing. Nothing. If my children equate love to something so frivolous as a curfew time, again, I'm not doing my job as a parent. Because if I am, I have already shown my kids what real love is, and I have given my kids real love, so they already know a curfew time is not equatable to me actually loving you. That's not
okay. All right, so let's do it let's do it in a religious aspect. Mom, if you really love me, you wouldn't have me go to church all the time that the church door is open, because you making me go to church. I don't want to care. I have no desire to love God, which should be the purpose of going to church. But I'm turned off. That's not making me want to love God.
You're throwing a lot of different scenarios on the table. Some things are just non-negotiable. Partnering and relationships are different.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, we agree with that.
What we mean? What we mean by that? That is not
parenting.
The parenting. Not arguing about curfew time. That is Marv.
I agree, man.
That's not manipulation. It is not do what I say or you don't love me. This is how I need to be loved. And if you're incapable of loving me that way, tell me that so I can find somebody who can love me the way that I need to be loved. It's not manipulation, baby. We all have a choice. This is how I need to be loved. If you're incapable, I appreciate you letting me know that. And on to the next. That ain't got nothing to do with manipulation. I can admit I'm not a big communicator. My act of love is service. That is awesome. But Thomas, is that what your wife needs? Because y'all talking about love, then parent and I are. That is Marvin that's talking about curfew time. I'm just answering the question. Wayne, Marvin, you on one tonight. Thank you, Mitch.
No, we were talking about love from well, however, kids, they don't have it all together. They're not as grown as they think they are. But you feel like
they
you don't love me because you make me eat my vegetables. If you really love me, you wouldn't make me eat these peas.
Wayne, this is him talking about fruits and vegetables now, just to be clear. Not me. I have a question. Yes. What's your question, Wayne?
Take the actions that showed up.
Mark,
I don't know what you mean that about Marky.
Yeah. Mitch, I agree. Marvin is on one tonight because
and you know I wouldn't be me if I wasn't. Especially I look at it like that from a parentistic standpoint as well of a relationship standpoint. And I know that they're two totally different things, but just because you say or you don't feel like I love you does not mean that I don't love you. I don't care what y'all say.
You cannot love me how you're okay. Although you describe me how you want to be loved, even if I don't meet your standards, does it mean I don't still love you? Although you describe to me how you want to be loved.
Exactly.
First of all, most people don't describe to you how they want to be loved. Most people describe to you how they need to be loved. There is a major difference. Want is subjective. It's optional. Need is like food. I need this to survive. Like, this is what I need to survive in our relationship. It's a need, not a want. If I don't meet your standards, does it mean I don't still love you? I'm not going to say it don't mean you don't love me, but what I will say is what room does our relationship have to grow if I'm telling you what I need and you're selfishly choosing not to provide the love in that way? Thank you, Mitch. Thank you. If I say I love you in a relationship, we should endeavor to meet the needs
of one another, not just you as a female.
Thank you, Mitch. No, that's not what he's been saying all night.
Thank you.
Marv is saying if I give you love this way, or if I don't meet whatever your need is, doesn't mean I don't love you. I'm not saying that it does say you don't love me, but again, if I don't have room to grow in my relationship because you're not willing to meet my need, how can I gauge if you love me or not? Because again, if you know it's a need and you're choosing not to meet it, how can you say you love me? You're selfishly choosing not to meet my need. And if you love me as my partner, you're going to make it your business to try to meet my need because you say you love me. I'm not deflecting. I'm answering the question.
No, but you're essentially saying what I said. You're saying what I said.
That's absolutely not what you said. Absolutely not what you said.
All I said was period. Like it ain't even no room for error with this. Just because I don't love you the way that you desire to be loved, or you don't feel it, you don't feel like I'm meeting all your needs, it does not mean that I don't love you.
That's not what I'm saying. That I didn't say that.
That's all I'm just saying though.
I don't agree with that though. And Wayne talking about I'm saying the same thing. No, I am not. Absolutely not. If you again, I ain't even gonna say my point again. Y'all done already heard my point. I'm not thinking about Wayne at all. Y'all heard my point. If you are selfishly choosing not to show me love in the way in which I need, no, thank you.
So let's say, for example, hypothetically, I can't show you the way that you need.
Then you're not the one for me.
Incapable. Does that still mean that I don't love you?
Then you're not the one for me.
I don't have. That's not answering my question. I might not be the one for you, but it does not negate the fact that I still love you.
And I go back to my point of how can you say you love me when you're selfishly choosing not to provide what I need? Change the topic. Bring Wayne on, because Wayne got a lot of comments in this comment section.
We got to get out of here because it's your time. You gotta handle your girls.
Oh, part 2, because oh my gosh, this just.
Hey, Big Five, let me know when you available. If you're available next week, yo, we'll pick up right here. And that's if you available too.
We got a couple. We got 3 more minutes. Ask your question, Wayne, because I already know this about to be some foolery. I feel it in my spirit. What's your question?
We definitely do a part 2 of both of y'all available next week.
Please. And we need a 4th person. Anita, hey girl, you still on here? You join.
Yeah, I'll work on getting us a female on here before the week is over.
Because this is crazy. But it goes back to what you said. Everybody has their own POV.
Exactly. And that's all I'm saying. Just because you don't feel like I love you don't mean that I don't. That's all I was saying.
What should these kids have faith in? On that note, because what even is he talking about?
That's kind of a good question, though.
Okay, let's save it for next week, because I don't know what Wayne.
That's a good one, Big Fly. Because everybody don't know how to teach them of the things of God or religion or, family values, different things of that nature there. So, it's important. I think you got to have a basis to start with. It's hard. It's just like, to your point, I think that we would agree on that. It's hard to show people how to love if you don't know how to love yourself. You know what I mean? If you're incapable of loving someone, it's kind of hard for you to display love. Women are more likely to file for divorce than men. With estimates suggesting that women initiate about 70% of divorce. Women are never satisfied.
I really want you to add more data to that. What are the reasons behind the divorces? Okay, let's not just play like.
Okay, but here we go. See, now you going. I'm like, fine, you diverted on that.
Repeating to what women are more likely to file for divorce than men, with some estimates suggesting that women initiate about 70% of divorces. Mm-hmm. What are the reasons? Women are never satisfied.
But to me, that's a whole different conversation.
I posed my question because he said women are never satisfied. Are they really never satisfied, or are there legitimate reasons for people filing for divorce? Like, come on. The world is crazy.
I wouldn't have added the last part of that statement. I wouldn't say women are never satisfied, but if 70% of women file for divorce, to me, that's either factual, that's either true or false. Now we can have a whole different conversation about why, but it doesn't change the fact that 70% is that 70%. Do we agree upon that?
I gotta go look for myself because I ain't taking.
So you got a whole week.
I'm not taking the word of nobody that say that in a sentence with women are never satisfied because it's giving misogynistic.
Pretty much like this. Out of all the divorced couples I know, the woman initiated, except for the one. I only know that one man that out of all the divorced people that I know, I only know one man initiating a divorce.
Oh, tell me offline.
You don't even know him. You don't even know.
Oh, it don't matter.
You don't know. And he talked about it on the show before, but because I was actually shocked. But 9 times out of 10, it really is. It's literally 9 out of 10. But again, we'll say that for next week. And they might have their reasons, but it don't change that fact. Thomas said, let me get this before we go out here. Me and my wife is going on 29 years, and we are still growing and learning. Anybody that says marriage is easy, they are lying.
They are lying.
I tell people marriage is not a job and it's not work. Marriage should be a career. You know what I mean? Like, because you have to, it's not just you. First of all, we ain't even gonna get in that. We can say that for next week too, but love is not just enough reason to get married. Like you said, there's real conversations you gotta have. You have to be intentional about making your marriage work. Like because if not, if I got my own agenda, what I think marriage is, and she thinks she knows what marriage is, or have her scope of what she wants a marriage to be, and we never have that conversation before we actually get married, chances are that marriage is not going to work.
Absolutely. I agree.
So you got to have those real important conversations before that. But like I said, we're going to say that for part 2. And I will get you another female on here. Big Five, let me know if you're available next Tuesday. Very intentional. Absolutely, Mitch. Miss you too, man. I gotta get down there to see you soon. But yeah, man, I want to thank all y'all for tuning in.
Absolutely.
And we gonna have Ly back on because, like I said, me and Ly, we love going back and forth. It ain't nothing like it. I love it. Yeah,
She crazy. Ain't. Thank you.
Hey, what's up, Big Tank? Tank said, been married 25. It's constantly work. Individuals you evolve, and the marriage has to accommodate those changes. Absolutely.
Thank you. Accommodation means meeting the needs of your partner, and we will end there because Wayne better not jump in these comments and say nothing else.
Yeah, especially like you said, to the partner, not just you ladies, because us men we have needs too.
Period.
And we'll end it on that. I hate I join late. Good conversation. Yeah, we gonna be back, man. We gonna be back. But yeah, man, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening, man. Like I said, you guys keep the White family in prayer, and everybody else that lost one. Like I said, keep my Jersey family in prayer. Seem like half the cities, not just Newark, but a lot of cities. I seen Patterson. There's a lot of cities up there that's underwater. People done lost cars. They done lost valuables in their basements and everything else. So let's really keep them uplifted in prayer and check on one another that are not in the area, that have family and friends in the area. Let's check on them, make sure they're doing good from an emotional standpoint, and just let them know they got somebody to talk to, vent to, and all the different kind of things there. But let's keep one another prayed up. And know that I love you all. I miss you all. I appreciate this time. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday, same time. And we're gonna do part 2. We'll figure out what we're gonna talk about all in depth.
And make sure you bring Wayne on the screen.
So he did that big fight. Follow you out.
Yep. Wayne, you're up. Clear your schedule for next week, please. And thank you.
All right, y'all, man. Y'all have a good one. And as usual, in signing off, DeAndre and LyAshia know that daddy loves you intentional, but I also love you unconditionally. So next week, peace.
Peace.